这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的英语能力在美国日常生活是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
Imagine this. You're in a room with a huge elephant. But no one talks about it. That's the elephant in the room. Today, we'll uncover where this phrase came from. It's a story about silence, fear, and finally, courage. Let's begin our tale. A long time ago, in the 1800s, there was a small town in England called Oakwood. Oakwood was a quiet, peaceful place. Everyone knew each other. Life was simple. But this town had a secret. A big, loud, messy secret. People acted like it wasn't there. It all started with the richest man in town, Mr. Alistair Higgins. He was very, very wealthy. He lived in a giant mansion on the hill. Mr. Higgins loved collecting things. Not normal things like books or art. He liked strange, exotic things. He had a room full of clocks that all told different times. He had a giant map of the world with places no one had visited. But his biggest desire was to own a live animal no one else had. One day, he heard about a traveling circus passing near the town. He went to see it. And there, he saw her. A magnificent African elephant named Binti. She was enormous, with wise eyes and long tusks. Mr. Higgins had to have her. He paid the circus owner a huge amount of money. Just like that, Binti the elephant was his. He brought her back to Oakwood on a giant cart. People came out to see. Their jaws dropped. They had never seen such a creature. Mr. Higgins put Binti in his large garden. But soon, it started to get cold. Winter was coming. She can't be cold, Mr. Higgins said. So, he made a decision. He moved Binti into his mansion. Into his ballroom, to be exact. Can you imagine? An elephant, living in a house. This was the first strange turn. At first, it was a curiosity. Binti was amazing. But problems started quickly. Elephants are big. They need space. Binti would walk around the ballroom. Her footsteps shook the house. She trumpeted when she was hungry. The sound was so loud it rattled windows in the town square. She ate a mountain of food every day. Fruits, vegetables, hay. And of course, she made big messes. The smell started to come from the mansion. Everyone in Oakwood knew about Binti. They saw her shadow in the window. They heard her calls at night. But something strange happened. No one talked about her. Why? Mr. Higgins was powerful. He gave people jobs. He lent money. People were afraid. If they complained, maybe they would lose their jobs. Maybe he would get angry. So, they made a silent agreement. They pretended Binti did not exist. This was the first high point. A secret pact of silence. The tension began. Day by day, Binti grew more unhappy. She was lonely. She missed other elephants. But the town's silence grew louder. Life went on. People talked about the weather. They talked about their crops. But never about the elephant in the mansion. It was the town's biggest secret. Then, a new family moved to Oakwood. The Coopers. They had a daughter named Lily. Lily was 10. She had bright red hair and was full of questions. On her very first day, she was exploring the town. She walked up the hill and saw the huge mansion. And then, she saw it. A long, gray trunk waving from a downstairs window. Lily froze. She rubbed her eyes. It was an elephant. She ran all the way home. "Mom! Dad!" she shouted, bursting into the house. "There's an elephant in the house on the hill." Her mother stopped smiling. Her father looked at the floor. "Lily, dear," her mother said softly. "We don't talk about that." Lily was confused. "But why? It's an elephant. How can you not talk about an elephant?" Her father sighed. "Mr. Higgins is an important man. It's best not to cause trouble." This was the second high point. Lily's honest question broke the quiet. But she was shut down. Lily couldn't understand. The next day at school, she asked her teacher, Miss Clark. "Miss Clark, did you know there's an elephant in the big house?" The classroom went silent. All the other children stared at their desks. Miss Clark's face turned pink. "Lily, that's not a proper topic for school. Let's open our history books." After school, Lily went to the bakery. The smell of fresh bread was wonderful. "Mr. Davies," she asked the baker, "have you seen the elephant?" Mr. Davies dropped a loaf of bread. "Oh, that's just a statue, I think. A very lifelike statue." He laughed, but it was a nervous laugh. Even the town mayor, kind old Mr. Abernathy, avoided the question. Lily found him feeding ducks by the pond. "Mayor Abernathy, what about the elephant?" The mayor looked sad. "My child, sometimes, to keep the peace, we must be quiet about things that disturb us." Lily felt frustrated and alone. She started to see the secret in people's eyes. They all knew. They were all afraid. The elephant wasn't just in the mansion. It was in every conversation they avoided. The secret was getting heavier. Months turned into a year. Bindi was not doing well. She was sad and lonely. She didn't eat much. She spent her days staring out the window. She became thin. Mr. Higgins was too busy with his parties to notice. He threw a party every weekend. The parties were loud. Music and laughter filled the mansion. No one ever mentioned the sad elephant in the ballroom. It was as if she was part of the furniture. Then, one night, Mr. Higgins decided to throw the biggest party of the year. It was his birthday. The whole town was invited. Everyone was there, even Lily's family. The mansion was sparkling with lights. People were dancing. It was a beautiful scene. But Lily couldn't stop thinking about Binti. She sneaked away from the party. She tiptoed down the hallway towards the ballroom. She peeked inside. There was Binti, chained to a post, looking tired and sad. Lily felt a pang of sadness for her. Just then, a server dropped a giant tray of metal dishes right outside the door. The noise was incredibly loud. Crash! Binti, already nervous from the party noise, was terrified. She panicked. She pulled on her chain with all her might. The chain snapped. She was free. She trumpeted in fear and ran out of the ballroom. This was the third and biggest high point. The ignored problem exploded. Binti ran into the main party room. People screamed. Tables filled with food were knocked over. Glasses shattered. A chandelier swung from the ceiling. It was pure chaos. People ran for the doors. In the middle of it all, Mayor Abernathy stood on a chair. His voice boomed across the room. Stop! Everyone, stop! Look around. We cannot ignore this any longer. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. The room went silent. The words were out. The secret was broken. Mr. Higgins was bright red with anger. But as he looked at the terrified elephant and the scared faces of his guests, he understood. He hung his head. The mayor was right. They calmed Binti down with help from a calm farmer who knew animals. The next day, the whole town had a meeting. For the first time, they talked openly about Binti. They talked about their fear. They realized their silence had made the problem worse. They had made the elephant suffer. They decided, together, to find Binti a proper home. They wrote letters and found a new zoo with a large habitat and other elephants. When Binti left, she trumpeted softly. It sounded like a thank you. The town of Oakwood learned a powerful lesson that day. The story of their elephant in the room spread to other towns, then to cities, and even across the ocean to America. It became a famous phrase for a problem everyone ignores. Now, let's bring this home. To you. Think about your own life. Is there an elephant in your room? Maybe it's at your job. A project that's going badly, but everyone is too scared to tell the boss. Maybe it's at home. A small disagreement with someone you love that has grown because you won't discuss it. Maybe it's a personal goal, like getting healthier, that you keep putting off. You see it every day, but you look away. When you ignore it, it doesn't go away. It grows. It gets bigger and heavier, just like Binti in the mansion. It eats away at your peace. But remember the courage of the mayor and Lily. It starts with one person saying, "We need to talk about this." It might feel scary. You might be afraid of the reaction. But on the other side of that conversation is a solution. There is relief. There is freedom from the secret. So, I challenge you. This week, identify one elephant in your room. Find a gentle way to talk about it. You might be surprised. You might just solve the problem and set yourself free.
你太棒了，你学完了全部内容，你离英语自由又近了一步。下个视频见。